took 1 year. 1 year into our marriage, and I was ready to give up, throw in the towel, and go to bed. Oh no, I wasn't giving up on our relationship. I didn't want out. I wanted a break, and possibly a good night's sleep and some chocolate cake thrown in for good measure. What was wrong? I was not the perfect wife? No, it was deeper than that. I was a lousy Christian woman. I was sure of it. If it were just about being a wife, I might have been able to cope a little bit longer. But this was more than that. All those things I was supposed to do, all those expectations, had become intertwined in my mind with who I was as a Christian and as a woman. Failing to do all the right things was equal to failing as a person. It wasn't just about my role anymore. It was about my identity. I grew up in the church. I'd heard all about biblical femininity or womanhood or whatever you want to call it. I'd been to retreats, Bible studies, conferences, and Sunday school classes. I studied Ruth and Hannah and Mary, and of course, that infamous woman at the end of Proverbs. I thought I knew what it meant to be a woman of God. But the truth was, so much of what I had internalized for all those years was confusing and conflicting. I had come to believe that the Christian life was about what I did. Holiness amounted to doing more and trying harder, and running myself ragged in between. As a young woman, I didn't want to think about all the ways I was falling short, but I also didn't know how to stop that list from repeating in my head over and over and over again. It was all I knew about the Christian life, about God's plan for me. So I clung to it, hoping that I had done enough, hoping I was enough. Oh, sure, I knew God loved me. I knew Jesus had died for me and saved me. I knew I was God's child. But sitting there, I felt lost, alone, and completely unsure. Have you ever felt like that? Many Christian women have heard messages about our worth, our value, our purpose. Maybe not as overtly as I had, or maybe even more so. And as a result, many women in the church today are under the impression that the heart of God's plan for us is lists and doing. We have been told or have come to believe that if we try hard enough, we can measure up. That if we have enough children, we have arrived. That if we do the right studies and read the right books and volunteer more, we will have done enough. It's a belief that lies deeply ingrained in us, sometimes without our even knowing it's there. And it's a belief that is wounding the hearts of women in the church. When we don't have a solid understanding of who God created us to be and how He planned for us to live out our purpose together, we will flounder and create plans for ourselves instead. We long for lives of meaning, but are inundated by failures instead. Our hearts cry out for more, so we scrounge through the Bible and search for any indication that we have a higher purpose than simply doing. We cling to other accounts in the Bible of women of worth, and we study their lives, hoping for a clue to our own value. It becomes easy, then, to read about the woman in Proverbs 31 and see only a list of things godly women ought to do. We read about Ruth and cling to the idea that if we just stay faithful, we'll have done enough. But just in case, let's do more. Without even realizing it, we've created a works-based pseudo-salvation that's leaving us hurting, discouraged, and exhausted. Not that our work will save us. We know or have heard that our salvation is through faith alone in Christ alone and by grace alone. But we think our role is rooted in our work. Or even worse, our value is based there. We've misunderstood the truth of God's plan for us, and it's left us exhausted, isolated, and drowning in shame. It was that deep-rooted but unrealized belief that my purpose was rooted in what I did that led me to that moment all those years ago when I sat on my bed and wept. I thought God's plan for me was all about me and what I was doing, and that misunderstanding was crushing me. I had no idea that His plan didn't start and end with me, but was all about Him. I didn't realize that it wasn't about doing more to somehow qualify as a woman of God. It was about living out His image on the earth. It was about bringing flourishing to the world.